Welcome back to Checkmate with Blake. Today we're going to continue our Journey to 2000 series. We're now at 853 ELO, as you can see down here. We're going to get started. Again, we're going to do a 5-minute game. We're going to do some full analysis afterwards. Again, if you enjoy this video, feel free to subscribe, leave some comments, likes. It all really helps grow the channel. We're playing black here. Again, as we get higher in ELO, if there's anything I don't explain, I'll try to do it after the game. Okay, so it looks like they're actually trying to play the Vienna. This is an opening you kind of just need to be prepared for. After the move here, there's a move you like to play. I like to play, which is actually this move. If you go down this line, it's a little different. So let's go ahead and play into this. So I'm expecting to see this move, which is the Vienna. Okay, they don't take it. Now I can take here, believe it or not, and after they take back, we would fork the pieces. However, after this move, there is this sacrifice that should be studied as well. But we can play this, and after the sacrifice, if they try to throw in any check, well, obviously we'd go back. So first we have a move. So for the sake of the video, we're going to play this, and I imagine they'll sacrifice the piece here. Since they didn't, we go ahead and go here, and we fork the two pieces. Let's see where they respond. The correct move, just so you all know, is actually to go bishop d3, blocking the pawn, but after I take back, they get a bishop in the center of the board. Now, a move that I expect to see would be here, or actually, realistically, this check, bishop b5, and then we would block with the pawn. So bishop b5 is incorrect, because now we challenge the bishop, and we're still attacking the knight. They do trade, which is, again, another incorrect move. We could take here. We can also take here. I'm kind of a fan of taking this way. And here they go forward. Okay. Or they go back, I mean. So here we could play here. I like this. Bring the bishop out. Notice our queen covers the pawn. There's no reason not to. We could consider pushing it as well. But then after they go here, now the bishop can't go to f4. So we're going to play this way. Also, of course, setting up some kind of tactics. Like, for example, we could go here threatening an early checkmate, although I don't recommend it. So now we just castle, and we try to bring a rook out. Try and expand this, actually, make it look a little better. Okay, so I like this move here, actually pinning the knight. I don't believe there's any tactics. We're going to pin. So what we're doing here is we're developing a piece with tempo. So we're developing this piece and pinning the knight, and we have some hidden threats, such as pushing this pawn. And after this series, if they queen trade, we would trade anyways. I'll try to illustrate that in just 1 second. Here we could go back, although I'm not fond of giving away my bishop, so maybe just want to consider going here. In fact, I don't see any reason not to. This knight is on the rim. This is not a good piece. It can be chased away fairly easily with a move like b5, not that we're going to play b5. And now we have the hidden tactic of pushing, because notice it's pinned. Of course, I imagine there h3 happens, we'll drop back, they'll go forward, and we'll probably consider taking, and after they take, bringing the rook out with a check. So just to illustrate that, it's a little complicated. But we also have ideas like this too, because notice now we'll have two attackers on it. So both are very solid plans. Let me see which one I actually enjoy more. They're both very reasonable. I think we're going to break open the center because we've castled. So even if this move is incorrect, just know that when you've castled, you can break open the center and then attack their king. So they pretty much have to take this, or they can play this move again here. So, okay, so they don't take. So now we take, attacking again. They have to play the move h3. I don't see a line where they don't play h3. Although in that line, we could also consider taking here after they take back and going there, then having this play. So both are very reasonable. After h3, which I imagine, that has to be a mouse slip. That has to be a mouse slip, but we're going to go ahead and take. And we have an in-between move. So after they take back, we're actually going to throw in this check most likely. Yeah, so now we'll play this check. Okay. How to proceed. We could just drop the bishop back. That actually seems very reasonable. We're going to drop the bishop back. They can't push this pawn. We're still attacking it. And maybe after a move like queen f6, we'll further pressure it. Or even, I really do like bringing this bishop or the knight out as well. There's no threats here. They're maybe looking at this, but it's not a good plan. Let's see. Could also now take this. Although, again, I'm not entirely sure about that. Although, then we could play here, and then after there, we go there. So, actually, let's try this move. I'm not 100% sure. The only concern is now notice I've left my bishop undefended, which could be bad. But I think we can beat them in time. So, yeah, now after we play this check, they have to block with the rook. It's our only move. And then we can play this move. And so, even if they were to take, well, this would be checkmate. And obviously, after the rook goes here, it can't do this simple tactic. So I think taking here actually wins the game. Of course, if they take and take, there could be this idea here. But then we could probably sacrifice our queen, and after they take, and we'll notice we'll have two pieces and a rook. So I think it's all completely winning if we play this move. Again, notice that they cannot do this tactic. They cannot even go here because this is checkmate. And again, if they take and then try some kind of like line like this, we'll step to the side. And if they were to take with the bishop, again, we'll probably sacrifice our queen and force this exchange, if that makes any sense. So they do decide to give up the queen, and we'll take here. Notice we could have taken this a while back. So like after this move, we could have taken right here. But instead, now they're going to try this. They're going to hope to get some windmill tactic, where maybe they take here, and let's say I play some random move. Yeah, that move doesn't work because we go to the side. But if they taking with bishop would have made more sense. Because actually, this is checkmate. So I say we play this, and now it's not mate now because the rook will cover, but we'll win the bishop. Yeah, and we just take the bishop, and we're completely winning. Okay, they're trying to add pressure to our piece here, although it doesn't really seem like it's an issue right now. Let's go ahead and play this move first, and it baits them into this idea here, but then maybe now we have this. Yeah, so this would just be checkmate. So there were a ton of tactics in this game. We're going to go ahead and analyze them and try and show where we went right, where we went wrong. So let's see. How was the game? What did we play like? We played pretty good. We had a 90.7 accuracy. That's pretty solid. So we go this way, and we start here. Again, I'm going to kind of show some tactics here. I'm not going to go super in depth with the Vienna, but the move I like to play is the move d5. And of course, after this takes, the move that is generally recommended, Gotham Chess recommends this, is queen f3. There's a lot of lines here as well. You could consider multiple things here. Like the engine says f5. I've actually never played f5 in this position. I generally actually bring the knight out here. And it's actually a tactic because if they take, you play knight d4. And after the queen goes here, you take the piece and it's an okay position. So that's the move I like to play. And you may wonder, well, why not just go ahead and take here in this position? Let's say queen f3 and take here. Well, actually what they can do, you can take back with the queen, but you can also take back with this pawn, and then after a random move, you get this really strong center, and obviously white is completely crushing in this position. The best engine move, though, here is knight f3, but since we didn't play the Vienna, I'm not going to go super in-depth with it. I thought we were going to play the Vienna, which is why I was prepared to play that. Here, though, we sacrificed. I imagine this move was coming. This is a mistake. Just know that. But after this idea, we go here. You could play d5, and let's just say they go back here. First of all, you could just play the bishop here. And the idea behind these checks is also you could just kind of block this way. Of course, here they have this check, so I'm not saying entirely that's the route we would have went. The engine actually wants c6, probably because after here we could step back to g8. And just know there is a mating idea if they could ever get to this light square diagonal. However, none of that happened in the game because instead, sorry, it's going back here. Instead, they decided to take the piece. And after we forked the pieces, they should have played bishop d3. That's the best move because after takes, notice now we have the center. You can play f5, or well, they have a bishop in the center, I mean. You can play f5, the move, let's see, bishop f3. If you try to push it away too much, they have this check, and let's see where it goes out down this line, because this is a very complicated line, and then just going back here. But black's winning in this position. Instead, though, they did not play it correctly, and they decided to go with this bishop d3 check, bishop b5 check, and then we block with c6. After they take, we take back, and now we develop. Of course, again, it did want d4, which is interesting, probably for the move f5. However, of course, we didn't go that. We just went ahead and developed, and there's no problem with developing and castling, especially this ELO. That's probably what I'd recommend. Anyways, we castle, and they bring the knight out. We go ahead and pin the knight. It's just generally a good rule of thumb to try and pin the knight, especially in these kind of situations. Now, after they play this move, putting the knight on the rim, we go ahead and block this way. It's important to point out, if you had tried to go back, there's really nothing wrong with this move, but after they take, they double our pawns. They do give us this open file, but I don't want to get rid of this strong bishop for their knight that's on the rim. So instead, we drop back here, and now we push our plan. So we push, and after takes, again, I imagined the move h3 was coming. However, again, as I said in the game, it's complicated because you could even consider taking here, and after this takes, take here, rook g1, and then this check. And after you look at a move like this, and you may say, well, it's all okay. I'm not 100% sure that it is. You have this idea here, but I wouldn't necessarily go super deep with these lines. I imagine they could probably take here, but then, yeah, then they have this check, and obviously can't play that move, so black's completely crushing in this position. Anyways, none of that happened. So going back, they played the move h4. Makes no sense to me. I don't agree with h4 at all, actually. h3 was a much more reasonable try, because now after we take and give this check, well, now we just step our bishop back. We're doing this to maintain the pin. The reason we're not going somewhere like here with the idea of playing something like this is because this pin, if we could maintain it, is just very strong, you know, pinning this pawn to this queen, and obviously we're getting some ideas for a kingside attack. We could bring the queen in, we could bring the knights in either way, and we're going to attack this pawn. Now they go rook g1, trying to desperately get an attack with the move bishop h6. We capture the pawn because their attack is not in time. Because now when we give this check, they have to block this way because this is checkmate. So they have to block, and now we just simply go and take this pawn. It does want queen h1. I want to see the follow-up here. It looks to me like somewhat of a repetition. Yeah, it does end up wanting this move, bishop takes f3. Bishop takes f3 works because, as shown in the game, if they give up the queen, which there was a line I wanted to show, you can actually take here. And of course it does. Yeah, this is checkmate. So both plans didn't work, which is why we took the pawn on f3. But of course, in this position, the move I saw that was the simplest, although there's a simple checkmate here with with this queen sacrifice, because the bishop cuts off this diagonal. The move I saw that was very simple is actually just sacrifice the queen and win this. And obviously we have two rooks and two minor pieces, and we're going to win this game. However, in this position, they decided to go with the rook, which is much worse because now when we step in the corner, this is simply a mate threat, or at least we win the bishop after this. Like after, let's say, what happened in the game? Well, let's go back. So they, sorry, I'm getting way out of the game. All right, so anyways, they take, and they decide for the rook. And again, as shown in the game, now we have this check where we then pick up the bishop. You may wonder, why did they sacrifice their queen? Like, let's say they try to save their queen. Well, this is simply checkmate. So obviously they didn't really have much of a choice here. Let's see, the best move actually is sacrifice the queen, so they played that correctly. And then we step to the corner, and we deliver this really nice checkmate right here. And the idea behind, I just want to point out, so notice our bishop here is actually well, it's not hanging, but after we move the queen, it will be hanging. This move was simply a trick, because obviously if they go here, which would have made more sense, we would have continued and probably looked at this position a little further. However, since they didn't and they decided to go here, which is a bit of a trick, now we have that simple checkmate where our bishop actually serves a very good purpose, and our queen cuts this off, and the rook cuts off this file over here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game. If you guys have any questions about this game, about any tactics that you'd like to see or see more of an explanation on, feel free to leave that in the comments. Again, we've grown a lot over subscribers over the last few days. Thank you guys so much. Your engagement with this channel, whether that's through comments, likes, subscribes, that really helps a ton to help grow the channel. And again, leave comments on what you all would like to see. Like, I can create personalized content for you all based on what you all would really like to see, because ultimately that's my goal, is to bring you guys content that you all would like to see. So again, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode.